Welcome so much to a very special edition of Asexualise My Asexual Life. Tonight we're celebrating 3 years of asexual discovery from Martin. Hello Martin! I see that you're not already watching this show. You're a little bit late, so let's hopefully... Oh, hiya! You just popped on. So yeah, this is Martin's very special celebration. He discovered he was asexual 3 years ago, and he's really over the moon about it. And he asked me to do this special celebratory episode for you. Hey Martin, lovely to see you. So if you see in the comments 5Mart2N, that's actually Martin's. Okay, hello. That's really nice. Thanks for tuning in for a little bit. I really appreciate that. So, if you don't know, Martin is in Asexual Perspectives. So if you haven't got your copy yet, don't forget to click down below in the description and you can get your copy. This is a printed version. And he's under his 5Mart2N name. So you wouldn't, like, if you didn't know him, you wouldn't know who he was. But I just wanted to read a little bit out of when he first discovered he's asexual. This is his story. So if you get the printed version, it's on page 405. The printed version's, you know, it's really big because it's like a huge book. It took me like a year to write, but it's really good. You can see the 46 asexual stories a lot better, and it's real life stories. People seem to think that it's just like stories made up. These are a real life answers to real life questions with real life asexuals, you know. It's all the truth as they've written it. So this is Martin's own coming out little story. So when did you first discover you were asexual? So if you haven't read the book, it asks all the asexual the same sort of questions and they give their story through their answers basically. So he's written, I found out I am asexual on the 15th of January 2015 when I was 21 years old. However, I somewhat knew and found it a little funny, actually, that I wasn't as interested in sex growing up, while others at least made themselves out to be. And I think that's really important. That's one of the signs of discovering you're asexual. So tonight, that's what our topic is going to be about, all about discovering you're asexual. And you know, some people, they come to asexuality and they don't really understand whether they fit in or they don't fit in. Whereas others, they discover it and it's like a light bulb moment gone on. It's like, my goodness me, these people feel exactly the same way I do. And they look back on their life and they realise the moments that really meant they are asexual, but they didn't realise at the time. I mean, if you read my book and read a lot of stuff I write, I didn't know at the time, but I can link it back to being 6 years old. When I was with a boy, and you know, I had to have counselling, and in the counselling she called it doctors and nurses, and oh, it just made me feel disgusted. You know, I didn't like that type of thing. I love kissing at 6 years old, and that was it. I didn't want the body looking at parts. I thought it was horrible. I felt invaded, and for years I felt so bad and so guilty about that because I felt it's just so wrong. And you know, if you are in this situation where you're still discovering your asexuality, or you're still feeling like you're broken or there's something wrong with you, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you whatsoever. You know, asexuality is a real thing. I'm real, Martin's real, and there are thousands of others asexuals around the globe. You know, there's 46 besides me. That's why it's called 47 stories. There's 46 in this book. These are real asexuals all around the globe. You know, they've given their personal stories. Some of them are anonymous, of course, whereas me, I'm just like full on out there. But I think it's really important to know that, you know, there's nothing wrong with you. I get a lot of private messages from people and they say, oh, I'm so glad I found your channel. I'm so glad that I, you know, stumbled across your blog. I'm so glad I saw your videos. I'm so glad I came across you because now I feel like I fit in. Now I feel I belong. And now I know that I'm not broken. There's nothing wrong with me. And I think that's so important to know there's nothing wrong with you. If you're going through your whole life feeling that you're left out, feeling broken and like there's something that's missing and you're not really in this world, you know, you are in this world, but you're just in the beautiful 1% of the huge population that is asexuality. And there's nothing to be ashamed of. There's nothing wrong in that. In fact, it's marvellous. To be honest, I've always loved to be different. I've never wanted to follow the crowd. I've never wanted to be like everyone else. And being asexual is just put the icing on the cake, if you pardon the asexual cake pun. Because to me, it's just like, well, I'm really far out different now. You know, I'm really separated from the masses. And I love that. I mean, why would you want to be like everyone else? And, you know, I don't understand why people do. And I know there's some asexuals and they really want to be normal, as they call it. But there is such thing as normal. And even sexuals, they have a hard time because sexuals, you know, some sexuals, they want sex every day. Sometimes they want it several times a day. And other sexuals, they might want it twice a week. You know, some sexuals like touching in certain places, some don't. Some sexuals like phone sex, some don't. You know, some sexuals like sexting, some don't. And the point of this is even sexuals find it hard, you know. So there's no point in wanting to be like a sexual because they're going to have just different problems to you. So just be happy with who you are. And, you know, it's difficult to find an asexual relationship. I'm not saying it's not. You know, even I find it difficult to find a suitable guy. But that's because it is, you know, I'm a romantic asexual and statistically there's more aromantic asexuals. So if you're aromantic, you've got more chance of finding a platonic or queer platonic relationship actually than you have a romantic relationship. And then you've got the grey A variations, you know, so that is just huge. But, you know, sexuals have a lot of problems too, but we just have some different problems in the other way. But what I'm saying is it's just really good to embrace your orientation and be really happy for who you are. When I first found out I was asexual and discovered it, it was like, wow, I went on Avon after being told by a counsellor that I have to have sex with a good guy to keep him. And I went on Avon and found out, gosh, there's loads of people like me after I Googled, you know, I love sex but not kissing. And I was like stunned. I'm like, these people, they can live without sex. It's just amazing. It's incredible. There's people who want relationships without sex. Until that point, I'd given up on relationships. I thought there's no point. I'm not bothering anymore. I'll just be forever single. But it's kind of hard when I feel romantic sometimes. But then that gave me, you know, when I found out I was asexual and there's people that could have relationships without sex, that gave me hope that one day I'll be able to have that type of relationship and it'll be a lot more special to me and meaningful because it'll mean that they love me for my personality and my character traits rather than my body. And I just think that's great. I'm not saying aesthetically I wouldn't like to be liked and admired, but I don't want, you know, them to want my body and stuff in that way. It's just gross to me that I don't need that. So it's just so important to embrace who you are. So going back to Martin's story then, because obviously this is a celebration for Martin. Happy anniversary, Martin. 3 years is fantastic. I'm really proud of you. So in the book it says, how did you discover you are asexual? This is Martin's story. I don't actually remember what threw me in the direction of asexuality, discovering it, but I remember doing a good amount of research on it and thinking about it on the way home from college that day before deciding that I am at least currently asexual. Now he's put at least currently because, you know, sexuality can be fluid. And you know, you might discover one day, Martin's saying now, I think I remember even being on and off of wanting a relationship while in secondary school, like maybe some sort of, on this iPad, your messages disappear. They spring up and disappear. That's really weird. So I can't read all that, but I'll read it later. That's weird. I thought it'd stay on there unless it's an update from YouTube. So yeah, I mean, I'd say from knowing Martin that he's definitely asexual because I know asexual traits and I'd say definitely asexual. And he currently identifies aromantic with possible romance. Yeah, exactly. I would say you're definitely asexual from what I know. I can't see that changing, but yeah, having said that, I mean, it's really weird. I used to work years ago in a big department store and there was this woman that was a lesbian and she hated this bloke. I mean, hated him. They were like arguing and fighting loads and couldn't get on. And in the end, she ended up being with him and having his baby. I mean, do you know what I mean? Just weird things happen sometimes in life that you just can't comprehend. And so while I say you're definitely asexual, you know, I'm definitely asexual. You know, if you look at this book, it's really incredible Because the conclusion, basically, is that asexuality is fluid. That's one of the conclusions in the book. That's like a major thing they say throughout the book, which I was very shocked about. You know, I've thought sexuality is really fixed quite a lot. But then when I thought about it, and I thought back to the woman that was lesbian, but then, you know, hated a bloke and ended up being with him. I think she got married to him. Then it's like, you know, anything happen. So, you know, things do happen in life, don't they? I mean, you can fall in love with one person and out of love and in with love with another. So, anything could happen. I'm not saying it couldn't. So, how do you identify yourself asexually? So, this what he has said. Currently, I identify as an aromantic asexual. However, I'm sort of on the edge of aromantic and heteromantic. Now, you can get grey romantic, which is in between aromantic and romantic. So grey romantic means that you might experience romantic attraction under certain or specific or limited circumstances. I don't think that's what Martin's saying there, but he's feeling like he might be romantic maybe towards certain people because he did have a relationship a long time ago. So I think that's where that's coming from, that he's not quite sure about that. So correct me if I'm wrong on that, Martin. And I think it's good to carry on. Are you out about being asexual? If not, why not? If you are out, whom to and how did they react? So he's put, never found the courage to do so. Plus, I know someone who doesn't even believe in bisexuality. My cousin knows, but found out about it through my YouTube videos. Oh yeah, check out Martin's YouTube channel. I will put the link later in this video. He does gaming. He's a credible gamer. Does DeviantArt stuff. He does splicing of Pokemon, which is absolutely amazing. You've got to see his work on DeviantArt. And he's regularly doing gaming and tips and tricks on his channel. And he's even got, yeah, I've had a relationship before. It was 7 years ago now, though, and it only lasted for 6 months or so. Well, you're beating some guys in terms of relationships. Some guys only have relationships of 3 weeks or 3 months. So that's quite a long time compared to some, if you're comparing. Not that you should compare, but I'm just saying. So that was quite long for some people. So yeah, I think the important thing to remember as well is that, you know, it does, you know, you don't have to come out, but I think it's important to know, you know, for everyone to know they should come out eventually, because you need to be true to who you are in this life, even if people don't agree with it. You know, obviously, if your life's in danger, then you can't come out. It's your life's more important. But, you know, if you can, whenever possible, it's good. And you might get a different reaction to what you think, you know? So, so he put that his cousin learnt about it through YouTube rather than telling him. And Martin said, and my uncle, my cousin's dad, may know about it, but he doesn't seem bothered about it in a good way. He doesn't talk about it, which is fine with me. So, you know, sometimes it's the unspoken word, isn't it? The fact that you can hint you're asexual even though you don't say it. I mean, I don't know how much you know about my past, but I couldn't even talk about sex years ago. So before I discovered I'm asexual in 2014, I couldn't even talk about sex, you know? I would only talk about it to my ex in the past, which I haven't been in a long-term serious relationship since 2011. So that's what I refer to when I refer to my ex. You know, and I couldn't talk, I didn't really talk to my parents about it. They said, oh, school will teach you that, you know, so that's great. My sex education was one video with a person dressed up as a sperm and a person dressed up as an egg. And they were going towards each other, going, one day my sperm will come. One day my sperm will come. And that was my sex education. So my mum's like, oh, school will teach you. That was my sex education in a biology class, I think it was, or chemistry. But I think it was biology. Oh, yeah, that happened a while back, but I actually had a decent conversation about it with the said uncle. He asked me a few things in a sort of criticised way, but he was respectful about it. Oh, good, you told your uncle. Well done, Martin. Woo-woo! Congratulations, Martin. That's good. He came fully out. Woo-woo! I think it's great. It's a little milestone. And when you come out, yeah, it's a fantastic feeling. It does boost your self-esteem and confidence, even if they do criticise you a bit at first, because you know you made that good step. It's a more bold and brave move on your part. And I'm so proud of you, Martin, for doing that. It's really, really good. Really, really good. So I was talking about when I was discovered I was asexual in 2014, and prior to that, I couldn't even talk about sex, you know, and now I talk about it probably more than sexuals do to help other people out, because sexuality as well I talk about, you know, I talk about all sorts of topics like masturbation and touching and, you know, and kissing and hyperromanticism and all sorts, but obviously the more sexual stuff, the more personal stuff, I had to push through all my fears and boundaries just to talk about that. I started this channel in October 2015, and I had to decide there and then that I would change myself to be more outspoken about sexual stuff. And like I said prior to that, I hadn't even discussed it with anyone apart from my ex, not even my best friends. So to be able to like openly, I mean, if you read this book, it's very explicit about me personally, and I can't hide behind anonymous because it's my book, not unless I wrote it under an alias, but I don't do that. I put my work out there under my name, so that's it with me. You know what I mean? I don't hide who I am. I never have done. So it's quite bold and brave of me to do that, but I think it helps asexuals, you know. I recently did a video on masturbation, and some groups didn't like the video, and other people found it really helpful because they wanted to know that they're not broken. See, the thing is, if you're asexual and you do masturbate or get that urge, need or want to masturbate, but you don't get a sexual attraction, it's kind of difficult because doing masturbation is kind of a sexual act, but you don't experience a sexual attraction because you don't want to do that. You know, you don't want to have sex with a specific person. You might actually want to do masturbation with a person due to the relief of arousal. But it's really important to know that you're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. And that's why I did that video. You know, I used to hate masturbation. I used to think it's blur. Didn't want to get involved with it. Didn't want anything to do with it. And then I tried it after I found out I was asexual. And it's like, oh my goodness me. And it can get quite addictive, which is another thing that's not always healthy, especially if it hurts when you do it because you're doing it too much. So, you know, I try not to do it all the time. I try to refrain and think about other things and, you know, and try and take my mind off it. And, you know, if I don't feel too romantic, it's not too bad. So I cut down on love songs, cut down on the romance, cut down on speaking to guys a bit that actually I get really drawn to aesthetically or romantically. Well, usually both together, because I usually wouldn't, you know. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I do to cut down on that. But there is nothing wrong with it. If you want to do it, that's great. And if if it's good for you, that's even better. Obviously, if it hurts, you've got to, like, you know, think again. I mean, I've got a disability, fibromyalgia, so kind of like that area is a bit sore anyway. This is getting really personal now. But, you know, if you've got any problems like that, that's what can happen. So anyway, if you're just discovering you're asexual and watching this video, you know, welcome to the ACE team, as it were. I'm really happy to have you here, and I have to say, discovering you're asexual is just amazing, you know. Isn't it that euphoric feeling when you're like, oh, there's actually someone in the world that doesn't want sex? I mean, seriously, prior to 2014, I believed everyone in the world wanted sex. I thought when I spoke to the counsellor, there must be someone like me who doesn't. But it seemed absolutely every single person in the world did. And even the counsellor said, I've got to have sex with a good guy to keep him. Do you see what I mean? Every single person in the world, my world was just sexually orientated, you know, in terms of everyone around me. And I was thinking, why can't I have true love? I just always wanted someone who loved me for my personality. Yeah, sure, like my looks, but my personality is what I really want a guy to be attracted to and stay with me because they think it's unique and like no other one in the world. That's what I really want in my life. At the moment, I still haven't found the right asexual guy, but that's fine. And discovering you're asexual, you know, is amazing for other reasons because you do come out of your shell a lot more, I think. You talk to people more honestly and openly about your feelings, about your likes and your dislikes in a relationship. I think asexuals are far better in terms of discussing what they like and don't like in a relationship than sexuals, because sexuals, you know, they use the sexual attraction a lot as initial attraction, and to keep it going they keep using that, and they don't really find out so much about if they've got common interests and stuff like that, whereas I believe asexuals do. They root around a lot more. They're, in general, if they're good and they want to form a good relationship, they're more communicative, they're more asking questions of the other person and find out what they really want, you know, like physically and, you know, in terms of hobbies, interests, lifestyle, all that type of thing. I think, you know, asexual love is very, very beautiful. Maybe one day I'll experience that in a romantic way, and maybe I won't. But, you know, another thing I've done since discovering I'm asexual, which I didn't do prior to that, is I organise group meetings. So I organise asexual meetups, which our next one is on the 3rd of February, which this video is being recorded in 2018. So on the 3rd of February, I'm having an asexual meetup in Exeter, and people are coming from all over. You know, I've got a guy coming from Worcester, who's my friend, and a guy, a newbie from Newcastle, and most of the guys that I meet at the asexual meets, most of them I are either friends with before I meet them at the meets online in various places, or I've become friends with them afterwards. So it's really good. I love having asexual meets, organising them, because they say to me, well, you're an extrovert, and if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't even come together, because the majority of them are introverts, you know, and they're not really totally up for doing the whole organising thing. They might like to talk about a meet, but they don't actually get on and do it, whereas I shift my butt. And I organise people from different websites, asexual websites and forums, and to come together. It takes some effort, and you know, the numbers aren't as high as some of them, but it's all good. So the next asexual meetup's on the 3rd, Saturday the 3rd in Exeter, like I said, but we're having a mini meet on the 4th, the day after, which will be for people who stay over in hotels, and also for anyone who can't make it on the Saturday, and anyone else who wants to join us. So this time it's going to be like a 2-day meet. It's going to be absolutely awesome. The main meet's going to be on the Saturday, but it's going to be like a meet and a mini meet. It's brilliant. And my friend from Worcester is going to be seeing me all day on the Friday, so we're going to be spending like 3 days together, and it's just fabulous. I mean, he's leaving early on the Sunday, but it's just good. We get on so well. And I love being around asexuals, and I love being around asexual guys as well, because it reminds me that I can have a relationship where a guy is not going to want sex out of me. I feel really comfortable around those guys. You know, I can tell the aura is very different. When I'm around sexual guys, I can feel their sexual attraction towards me. I don't know if it's normal for asexuals to be able to feel that, but I can feel their sexual attraction. I can feel their sexual energy and aura, you know, coming over me when I'm in their presence. I can feel the, you know, the sexual tension from their side, and, you know, the sexuality coming out of them, if you like, the sort of like sexual energy. Like, I know that they want me in that way. And, you know, it's always nerve-wracking. I can't date sexuals anymore. I tried last year for a brief time, but I mean, I must have been crazy. But it's actually someone in my Asexual Perspectives book is with a biromantic person. They said sex wasn't an issue. So I kind of took my own book's advice, but it didn't work out. Not just because of the sex. I mean, that didn't really come into it as much, but it was other things. He was a bit of a psycho, but to put it mildly. But yeah, so he's out the door. So yeah, but you know, the whole point is meeting asexuals is wonderful, and I don't want to ever be with a heterosexual again. I just can't do it. It's not good for me. It's not healthy. So asexuals all the way, and you know, holding meets just means I make more friends. And my one of my goals for this year, I've got 42 goals for this year, is to actually hold more asexual meetups and make more asexual friends. Now, I want to show you something for this very special edition, because today I've managed to get my Quirky Books ebook store up, which is amazing. It's not actually embedded on my site yet, because I bought a service. So basically, I bought this ebook store to put on my quirkybooks.net website, and it just didn't work. Had bugs in it. It stopped working. I couldn't even get it fully fitted up. So I bought access to like another service software, so it's on their server, and it's looking dead good, which means that you can buy Asexual Perspectives book ebook on the store directly, so you don't actually need to go on Amazon, but you can still get it from Amazon as well. The only thing is, at the moment, I can't sell products on that site to people in the EU because of the new EU rules and regulations regarding tax. But I'm going to try and see if I can. I'm not sure if I can swap this over. Let me see if I can swap this over, and I can show you my ebook store with my Quirky Books ebook store with my asexual book on there. So I'm just going it around quickly. So this is my desk. This is a writer's desk. Look at all the books up there. My goodness. So yeah, I do a lot of writing, and this needs to flick on. So look, this is stunning, don't you think? Look, finally, these are all my 3 books, because I've done 3 books so far. So this is my new ebook store, and I think it's looking pretty good, don't you? And look, so this is Asexual Perspectives that you can actually buy directly on that store now. So this isn't embedded in quirkybooks.net yet, but when it is tonight, then you're going to be able to go on quirkybooks.net and just literally buy it directly outright. You know, it's a nice, safe and secure site. It's going to be great. So I think this is so important, look, to be able to, because there's people in Bangladesh and places like that that haven't been able to buy it from Amazon. I didn't realise that Amazon Kindle ebooks are not worldwide. There's a lot of countries, like they sent me a list of about 25 countries where you can't get ebooks from Amazon. And I'm like, geez, why can't you get ebooks from Amazon in certain countries? That's ridiculous. They're digital. But it might be because of laws, I'm guessing. So, yeah, it's going to be fantastic to be able to buy them direct from my site as well as on Amazon. Anyway, I want to say I've been on here for quite a long time now, so just want to say congratulations once again to Martin. Absolutely amazing on 3-year anniversary discovery of asexuality. It's been really lovely for you to have tuned in. I hope you're going to have loads of projects that you're going to be getting on with tonight. I know you're really good at organising and multitasking your projects. You're awesome. And I'll put, when this video is finished processing a bit later, then I'll put the link to your channel in there, and hopefully you can get a few more subscribers. Anyway, it's been really nice to talk to you. Embrace your quirky and each other's, as I say. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I've got some really good videos coming up. I release a new video every single week usually, more sometimes. And the next one's due out next Monday. So yeah, enjoy that. It's on its way to you. And don't forget to hit the bell button. There's a bell button, and that gives you notifications of every time I post a new video. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I noticed it's got 2 already, so I appreciate that. And share it with all your friends. Yeah, hopefully it'll help someone. Take care. Bye, Martin. Thanks for tuning in. Bye, everyone.